Hi, I'm Colin and welcome to How to Paint Watercolours. So if you're ready, we'll get started and we'll paint this one. Welcome back to Painting Watercolours. I've stretched the paper. This is £140 Bockingford watercolour paper. The colours I'm using for this will be Naples yellow, alizarin crimson, cobalt blue, alizarin crimson and Payne's grey. Same colour, just a little thinner, Payne's grey, phthalo green with alizarin crimson added to it and Payne's grey just to really darken it. This comes from a photograph, but it's actually a summer. It's a summer photograph, but I thought we'd do an exercise in changing it to a winter one. So that's just a bit of Naples yellow in. And I want to take some alizarin crimson just around the edges. I'm just going to pull some of this through. These are Sennelier paints, so this is actually alizarin crimson lake. It's not as dark as the alizarin crimson. Some companies make it really dark. This is more of a raspberry colour. I find quite attractive. Use any brush you feel comfortable with, I like to say. This is the weaker mixture of the two, cobalt blue, alizarin crimson and Payne's grey. Payne's grey is just to dull it down slightly. Try and make the sky quite simple. Like I say, there is a thin film of water left on the paper. That's just a vehicle to allow the paint to move and spread. You can bring these colours together. And I'm going to move into a thicker mixture of it. Just means less water, same colour. You could leave it like that, but I'm going to drop some water in. And then you're going to give it a good dose of neglect, as I like to say. So I am now going to neglect that and let it dry. Now your sky is nice and dry, like I've said before. The paper's still damp, and if you feel the bottom part's drying out a little bit, some painted, you can always wipe across it with a brush with some water on. There's quite a lot of background trees in this, and I do want some of them to be misty, so what I'm actually doing is just dropping some water on with a stiff oil brush, and I've just put it on in droplets because I want little dry patches and running patches. I've set the board at an angle just so that it will run, or will help to run. It's a bit complicated over here, but I'm going to simplify it, which you can do. Just that you are changing the picture anyway from a summer one to a winter one. But there we go. Then I'm going to take some of this mixture, quite watery. I've just added more. It's cobalt blue, alizarin crimson and Payne's grey, and I do want this to be quite weak, to be honest. And I'm going to start above the water line and bring it into the droplets of water, and we can just add some trees in. Put masking fluid around the tree trunks because I may cut a lighter shade in, and I'd like it to stand out.
These in pretty quick.
Then I'm going to wipe out the bottom with a damp brush. Just so you can't tell where they join the land. Then I'm just going to let that dry. Okay, this line of trees is relatively dry, and I'm just running some water along the bottom where it's unpainted, just to show you, just to keep it stretched so it doesn't cock up. And we're going to do the same again. I'm going to take some water. I'm going to put a line. I want these to stand out, so I'm just going to add some drops of water in again, and then I'm going to take some dark green that we mixed. I'm going to pop it in there. It's almost a black, and I'm going to add some water to it. That was phthalo green, alizarin crimson and Payne's grey. I'm going to take some on the tips, and I want some crispy edges. If you enjoy these videos, please give them a thumbs up, and please leave a comment. It all helps with YouTube's algorithm, and it'd be very kind of you. and it encourages people to actually make more if you enjoy the video. And even though this is weak, you still get a sense of slowly coming forward. Don't get too carried away with it. Just a damp brush. I'm just going to pull this down, and you create a little snow line at the back there. It's all in shadow, and just soften off the bottom. I don't want to break up this tree line there, it's quite regimented. See, like this is just changing a summer scene into a winter one. And once again, I'm just bringing this down just to give a little land direction, a little shadow, all done with no paint, just a damp brush. Then I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to put the snow in now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run some water where I want the snow to be, and this is where you can sort of sculpt your land a bit. I'm going to put some of this mixture in here. This is the cobalt blue Payne's grey with some alizarin crimson added to it. I'm just going to drop this in, and I have strengthened this up slightly with the colours. I'm going to bring a line down here and up here. And there's a masking fluid on the trees, it should keep them clean. And then I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to pull this sort of across and back. And create like a flat field. A little bit more. Let's strengthen this up just a tiny bit. Just creates a shadow where maybe there's a dip in the ground, and I'm going to bring some round here. And then I'm going to leave that to dry. I've just rubbed the masking fluid off the barn, burnt sienna and cobalt blue, just up the tree, and then I think we can put some branches in. And for this I'm just going to turn it round a little bit, just makes it a little bit easier. Make sure your hands are clean. This is a slightly darker mixture, the same colour. I mean, you can decide how much building of the tree out you want to do. You can decide how many branches you put on. I'll complete this off camera, as it will take just a little time. That's your trees in, and what I want to do now is just bring this a little bit more colour to the bottom of the tree. And I'm going to take a little bit of a damp brush, and on the bottom here I'm just going to touch it. And I want to bring it down, it's like a shadow underneath. You can add a little bit more to it. Start to sit the tree down. I have re-wet the barn. What I want to do, I've only wet it on the front and the side. I'm going to leave the roof, and I'm just going to drop some colour in. Like I said to you when we started, I always have these colours mixed up, the earth colours. I'm just going to drop these in. I'm just going to bring this together, downward strokes. French ultramarine and burnt umber, and underneath the eave I'm going to drop this in. just where you get the shadow. We'll scratch some planks in it when it's dry. My neighbour's carrying out some work. I want to come across here. I want to drop some water in. I'm going to take some of the green that I mixed up, phthalo green, alizarin crimson, paint grey, and I added a little bit more green in it because I would like a little bit of more colour. And then I'm going to take a damp brush because I want some shadow. And add a little bit more darker colour, French ultramarine and burnt umber. Let's add some really nice dark shadow to it. Some water on the brush, and we can just start to pull a little bit more further down. I think that will do that. Then before we can put these trees in, we have to let that dry. Once your little barn is dry, I just took a craft blade point and I just scratched in some planking. It just looks like a little bit of snow was caught on the edge and scratched in the door. Taken the masking fluid off, and I'm going to run some colour up the tree. I've added water to it just to help it flow. This is the same colour as these trees here. This is the burnt sienna and cobalt blue. I'm going to leave a white edge on parts of it so it looks like snow is sort of picked up on the tree trunks. And once again you can decide how much you want to do, but I'm going to use a stronger colour this time, French ultramarine and burnt umber. I don't want to put any foliage on these are really winter trees proper. I'm just going to use the exact same colour and I'm going to put the rest of the branches in, and you see that when I've done that. Once you've put your branches in, you can then begin to add some shadow onto these trees. That's a great deal of interest. French ultramarine and burnt umber. Leaving some of the other colour to show through. You could put grasses and everything else into this, but I'm not going to for this demonstration. I just wanted to show you how I would have painted it. I just like to just catch the bottom. Bring this down. And that joins your tree to the ground. Just a bit of shadow. You can put some birds in the sky, put 3. This is where you get to sign it, mount it and frame it. Hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Please leave a comment. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. Or you could join me on Facebook. And I'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.